Okay, I'm going to be replacing the oxygen sensor on this 2007 Toyota RAV4 V6. Step 1, disconnect the negative terminal battery. Supposed to let it sit for 5 minutes before you proceed. I don't know why. Next step, I got to get to the connector of the sensor, which is underneath here somewhere. Got to take this cover off, got to peel back the carpet, access the connector underneath there. Okay, that cover just pops right off. Here it is. And I'm just peeling back this carpet. Alright, here's the cable coming out of the firewall. I guess that's not a firewall, whatever you call it. Comes out of here, goes up. The connector is right behind here. I'm hanging onto the connector right now, and I just gotta unplug that connector. So here's the oxygen sensor, the new one. I've got to reach up in there and squeeze this little clip so I can pull it out. It'd be nice if Toyota gave you a little bit of slack so you could see the connector, but you can't. I can't get it out, so I kind of have to blindly get up under there and disconnect it, so I'll do that off camera. Alright, it turns out that little connector is clipped up in there, so I can kind of pop it out of that clip and get a little bit of slack to disconnect it. And there we go, disconnected. Sweet! Okay, I got the car jacked up. Got some jack stands so the thing doesn't fall on me and crush me to death. And here's the catalytic converter. And there's our oxygen sensor right there. And cable going off inside the car where we just disconnected it. Spray some penetrating oil on that bad boy. Let it soak in and try to wrench it off. Alright, so this thing ought to just come right out of here since we disconnected it. Yeah, there it is. Now the hard part, unscrewing this thing. So I'm just going to cut these leads off. Boom. So now I can just get a 7/8 socket on there. I think. Maybe it's not deep enough. Anyway, it's 7/8. See if I can make this work. Alright, I trimmed those leads off as close as I could get them. And that way I can get this socket on here. Okay, I got this long ass torque ratchet on here, and it broke loose pretty easily. I didn't have to work too hard to get that thing moving, so that's good. So after the initial breaking of it free, it actually got a little bit harder to turn. It's still going, but I gotta really muscle it. I'm using this big crescent wrench to get it to move, and I just keep spraying some more penetrating oil on it and just keep muscling it off. Alright, it's out, but I might have a problem with the threads. Looks like some of the threads kind of came with it, so I've got to see if I can clean them up. I don't know, I don't have a tap that size, but I'll see what I can do. Get it cleaned up. Okay, the threads are kind of jacked up, so I had to go to the auto parts store and buy this 18mm thread chaser for about $8. And here's the thread chaser in action, cleaning up the threads. All right, thread chaser done its job. Luckily my threads weren't too bad. I could see how if the threads were really bad that it would not be repairable this way. You would have to get this bung here replaced. You'd have to take it to a muffler shop, I guess, and they could unweld it and weld a new one in there, but luckily that was not necessary in my case. And here we go, installing the new sensor. Look at that, like butter. Right on in there. Sweet. Let me just tuck this guy up into here. Pop this boot in. I still gotta tighten that guy, but I will go ahead and do that. And there we go. There's the cable coming out. Get the light over here. Make that connection. Click. Pop that bad boy up in there. Something up in there holding it. And get my tool out of there. Get the carpet all back in place. Pop the cover back on. Reconnect the battery. And see how she runs. Just some more detail. Here's the cover. It goes up. These things just pop in here. So to take it off, you just pull it straight out and it'll come right out.